So if we want to see our character in silhouette, there's a few simple processes we can do within our viewport to achieve that. Up here in your viewport, you have choices for your different lighting systems. And this exercise will get you used to understanding that as well and getting familiar with how the lighting system has an effect on the scene. In this particular case, we don't have any lights in our scene, so if we use all lights or use no lights, it's going to be the same. And it puts everything in silhouette, has nothing is bouncing light um, off of the characters that we've manually programmed. It has a default lighting system so that you can see the character. And when we turn that off, it just goes straight to black. Now, this is fine for your work working in your file, but if you want to change the background, there's a few things. First thing I can do is just push Option B, and it scrolls through these different choices that Maya just gives by default. In this particular case, this one is a little bit lighter, but let's say I want to go completely into the white. I can go to my settings up here. In preferences, there is color settings. Under settings preferences, go to color settings here, and it opens up another dialog box for just general preferences for color. And we can go to 3D views. These are our views in 3D, and we can just change that color all the way up to white. If there's a gradient, we could change it down here and at the bottom as well. But there's no gradient in our viewer that we're using right now, and that sets us to black and white. So you can always go up and change that as needed. Again, it's in your preferences and your color settings, okay, in 3D views. So then let's say we want to start working, and we have a few options down here. You can keep it a white background, or you can just go back to using your Option B until you get to a preferred background color that you'd like to use. This maintains being in a silhouette up here at the top because this is affected by our lights, and we can control our lights in each viewport. So that way we have a file. That way we have a viewer we can work with, and a viewer that is our final output for camera. So let's say we want to see that camera. I can do that from the outliner. I can find it in the outliner, or I can find it here in the viewport. And then now that it's selected, I can go to panels and then to my camera. There's always a camera name attached to the camera. And so it pulls up this camera here, and I can leave it like that, or I can go to panels and I can do a tear off copy or a tear off of that exact panel, and I have a floating window here. So I could do it either way. If I choose view select camera, you see a highlight around it. That means I'm in that camera viewport. Right? So I know that that's what's being selected. If I know that's being selected, then that automatically pulls up my channel box information as well as my attribute editor over here. So I can also do a tear off copy here if I want, or I can leave it there and adjust my position inside that window. And here I have all the attributes for the camera within the camera shape. Our focal length changes up here at the top. The longer the lens, the more compressed the background will be to the foreground, and the wider the lens, the wider the view will be. Sometimes some things are out of view in your viewport and you don't know why. It's probably in your far clip plane. It's clipping things. So if I go down to 90, I can't see it anymore, right? Because it's not in the plane of view anymore. It's been clipped. So if I increase that, I'll see it again. So this is the rest of this. Most of this stuff is more connected to cinematography more so than a character animation class. So we don't need to go too deep into all of this, and it's probably not worth it for you anyway at this point to try to understand all of this stuff. What is important is to know just the general basics of how you're framing up your shot, and then as we get further into the class, we'll try to spend some more time with camera as we need. What's important probably for you as an animator to know is how to display the information at the bottom so the supervisor can see things about your shot that could be important for the bigger picture. So what frame you're on, for example. So that's something we've gone over a little bit, but it's in your heads-up display. You have display, heads-up display, and you have all that information here. So I can turn that on and off. That's pretty much going over the general setup of this silhouette. Getting things into silhouette, it's important for the posing, but it could be important for other things, like if you're rigging or you're animating and you want to have clear lines and be able to see things. It's good to know how to change your background settings, you know, and get it a little bit clearer.